So we're going to get started on our backs for our mobility and stretch class today. You want to just make yourself comfortable. Again, I typically teach with my mat front to back, and I like to teach this class sideways. I just think it's a little easier to demonstrate sometimes. So feel free to just get yourself comfortable, but your knees can be bent to start. We're not going to take Shavasana. This is just a way to get comfortable on your mat. Maybe walk your feet mat width apart, let your knees fall together. And as your knees fall together, continuing to walk your feet out a little bit further if your knees touch. I want them at a place where they are just, those hips are internally rotating and have about an inch or two between your knees, just naturally. And also as you move through this, trying to find that spot in your body that's good for your feet and their distance apart. Really try to relax in your pelvis and relax your low back. When we get that inward rotation of our knees, we really tend to hold a lot of tension in that sacral region. And this is important to just find ease, especially in a class like this, where we are going to try and move easy the entire time. Find some feminine energy, which just means this softness, this flexibility, and the ability to create space in our mind and body. So once you're comfortable, take a few gentle inhales and exhales. Notice your breath and notice that softness, and notice those things your body does without any effort at all. Your breath, your heartbeat. Really just bringing your thoughts to those natural things in your body. And just opening our minds a little bit more to consider those more subtle things, even more subtle than our heartbeat or our blood flowing, our breath. Because a lot of time our reactions to things going on around us. There's a lot of things your body holds emotionally that you're not even aware of that affect how you perceive the world and how you react. And just taking time to consider that everyone's emotional state varies and reactions to each situation can be different. So is true about our body's flexibility and ability to move in certain ways. And finding these times of acceptance where realizing people's experiences sometimes affect how they perceive the world, and your body's experiences and history also affects how it can move on your mat. And then coming to a spot of just acceptance and not trying to change that at all. Being curious about it. And as you continue this natural acceptance state of your body, let's bring our soles of our feet together and let our knees fall out wide. got this reclined Baddha Konasana, it's called, this butterfly. And noticing that sacral region, which is that area between your belly button and pelvis that can create tension here and in your hips. How you want to grip. And again, looking for that softness and awareness in your body as to how it reacts in this more vulnerable state. Sometimes our breath could change. Again, each person's reaction to poses feels differently. Our body interprets them differently. Maybe place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly in these moments. Tuning inward and just letting your body be in its natural state. Any emotions or thoughts that come up, we just kind of let them go and not hold on to any one thing for too long. As we move slowly and find our breath in these stretches today, it's easy for our minds and thoughts to wander. Again, there's nothing wrong with our minds wandering, but just being intentional with trying to be more focused on your own body and on your mat in these present moments. There'll be plenty of time for everything off our mat when we're done. So moving from our Baddha Konasana, let's place our hands on the outside of our thighs. Really just gently glide those knees together. Take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, draw your knees into your chest. Interlace those fingers around your shins. Take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, your entire spine and back eases into the mat. So our knees aren't being forcefully pulled in, they are easy. Our breath is easy and our face is free of tension. Let's continue holding on to that right knee as you extend your left leg straight. Noticing if that doesn't feel comfortable in your body, you can keep your left knee bent and your foot on the ground as an alternative. So gently guide that knee over towards your left shoulder. It'll be a rather small movement. Just noticing it's really not a lot of mobility to draw that hip bone across your body, but there is some movement. So as you keep taking that left knee towards your shoulder, take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, pretend you're drawing a line down that left side of your body with your knee. Slowly extending your left arm until it's straight. And on an inhale, bring that knee back up towards that left shoulder. On an exhale, draw that line down the left side again as you straighten your arm. And on an inhale, draw back up to that shoulder, noticing any sensation in those hips at this time. Do that one more time. On the inhale, open and expand, drawing that line away from you. Your knee is really just has that stretch across your body. And then on the exhale, draw back up towards your shoulder. Recenter so that knee is drawing over towards your right shoulder now. Just relaxing and finding a neutral spot for that hip. Taking a couple inhales, and then try to open that knee up So you're externally rotating in that right hip. And you're gonna try and open that knee all the way up to the right side, but rather than dropping that knee down to the ground to get that 90-degree bend, knee on the ground, shin on the ground, I want you to continue to pull that right knee up towards that right corner of your mat. And just like we did on the other side, as we pulled that knee to the other side, take an inhale and draw that knee down, like on the right edge of the wall, till your arm is straight. And then on an inhale, you're gonna bend that knee, pull it back up. A couple more times, inhale. Try to keep that right foot up off the mat as well during this time. So knee and ankle are on that same plane. Draw that knee back up. Inhale, expand that leg down. And draw it back up on the exhale. Bring your knee back to center. Just up that right side of your rib cage. Pull your knee in even tighter, noticing if there's any more mobility here. Let's relax our shoulders both down towards the ground if we've built any tension up. Then moving into a half happy baby. Right hand is going to grab for the, let's grab the back of our thigh first so that we can experiment with how each grip position feels differently in our body. So for half happy baby, that right knee is pulling down to the outside of your mat. And that ankle is trying to get up like about a 90-degree bend. So notice how that position feels in your body and where your range of motion is at. Take a couple inhales and exhales here. And let's shift that right hand position to our ankle if you're able. If not, just leave that hand behind your thigh. Again, draw that right knee down towards the ground as your foot comes up overhead. Noticing here how that might feel different than the previous position. And taking a couple inhales and exhales here. And now let's switch to our third position where we're going to reach for the inside arch of that right foot. Again, only if we're able. Like, feel whichever position resonates with your body. And feel free to stay there. You've got this full half happy baby if you're gripping the arch of your foot. Letting your arm fully extend. Maybe stand into those fingers on your right hand in order to stretch out that right arm a little bit. And then pull that right knee down, maybe bend that right elbow if you're able, as you draw that knee to the outside. Take one more inhale and exhale here, nice and smooth and steady. And then release that foot. Hug your knee back into center one more time along the outside of that rib cage. Slowly extend that right leg long on your mat. Push down into your elbows, adjust your body so that it feels straight and centered. Sometimes we get a little cockeyed on our laying on our back as we adjust on just one side. Let's try all those movements on our left. So pull left knee into chest. Again, that right foot can be bent, that right knee. Pulling that knee towards you just to start for a moment. And for me, I'm going to release that grip with my left hand and just keep my right hand on my knee as I draw that left knee up towards my right shoulder. Again, can you notice anywhere in your body that starts to hold tension here? Even though we are creating this stretch, the stretch shouldn't include your jaw, your neck, your chest, increasing in any tension at all. Try to remain soft there. Tying our breath now to movement, take an inhale, draw that knee down the right side. And then inhale, take that knee back up. Draw the knee down till your arm is straight. Slowly pull that knee back up. Do that one more time. That outer left hip should be stretching. Maybe feel that ball joint moving in your hip. Hold here at the top for just a moment. And then return that knee towards the left shoulder. Hug it in. Now switch hands. That left hand is going to grab your knee, and I'm going to release it with my right. Open your knee out to the side as you pull it any bit up overhead. Again, noticing that left elbow is bent. Then that foot stays up off the ground, same plane as your knee, as you slide that knee down the side of your mat and straighten that arm. And inhale, bring it back up, that fullest range of motion. Tie this to your breath, moving on one inhale and one exhale. And hold at the top after that third cycle. And then pull that knee back to center, hugging it in along that left rib cage. Let's take those 3 phases of our half happy baby. So grab the inside of that thigh right behind your knee. That foot comes up, and that knee draws down to the outside of your mat. Again, can you soften if you're gripping into that right foot, that right leg is tensing at all? Try to keep softness there. Take another inhale and exhale. And let's grab behind or around our ankle rather. Seeing how that feels different. Like my elbow pushes into that inside of my knee. I can get a little bit more range of motion here because I can not force, but I can kind of drive that knee open a little wider to create space in that left hip. Notice what you can do differently here with that grip. Another inhale here. And an exhale. And let's grab the arch of that left foot. And for that full half happy baby. That almost seems like a full half, right? It's kind of the optimist view of full half. And find some smoothness in your breath here as you draw that knee down and open. And then press into the arch of that foot a little bit into those fingers in order to straighten and lengthen that left arm a little bit. It just creates a little bit of traction in that arm. It's a bonus stretch. Then if you can, pull that knee down deeper to the outside of your mat and find a bend in that left elbow. And all of this is just going to depend on that range of motion. You guys can't see it right now, but I just got handed a Starbucks Frappuccino. How's that for a diversion? Okay, take one more breath here. And exhale. Let's release that knee back to center. Hug that foot in. Take a deep inhale, and then exhale, extend that leg long. And adjusting those elbows, push yourself around any bit to feel centered as you lay on your mat. And then one at a time, let's start with that right knee. Pull it into your chest and pull the left knee into your chest. Again, tie our breath to this. Really use your breath. So take a deep inhale. And on that exhale, your entire back body sinks down into your mat. Easing through your shoulders. Again, we've been here already. Not creating any extra stretch or stress in our body here. Just noticing if this feels different than the first time we took it. Working on opening up our hips a little bit. Noticing how much of your back can be on the ground here. So release your knees and just keep them hugged in gently, not creating any stress in your body. And I want you to really notice where your tailbone is at and where your shoulders are at. Tuck your chin ever so slightly in towards your chest, just to create a little bit longer back of your neck. And then let's try this happy baby with both feet. We're going to take the 3 steps again. So open up your knees, those feet come up, grab the inside of your thighs right behind your knees. Pull those knees down towards the outer edges of your mat to really open up. Again, as you take about 5 breaths here, I want you to really find ease in the rest of your body. Maybe taking slight rock right to left, and eventually noticing if you're holding tension in your shoulder joints, in your eyes or your cheeks. Really taking this opportunity to find softness, which can be pretty difficult for people to do. So just take your time, starting with your forehead and eyes and cheeks. Just relax. After that next exhale, let's walk our hands to our ankles. Noticing if this changes that position of our hips or shoulders on our mat. Again, the intent with the happy baby is to try and keep as much of the spine on the ground as possible. So as you do that, try to weight down your hips heavier into the ground. And making this more active, let's try to weight those shoulders into the ground as well. Really grounding your spine and back muscles into your mat. And then pull those knees down. Feet come up a little bit higher. Find those steady breaths. And then as you reach down and grab for the inner arches of your feet, this is really the most active part of happy baby. Trying to still weight down the hips, weight down the shoulders. Keep that chin tucked. Again, 3 different happy babies, actually about 9 different happy babies, right? When we did the right and left side different, and now here. And all create different sensations in our bodies. Basically, doing the same thing with those subtle changes in that pose makes our body interpret it differently. and feel it differently. Now add a slight rocking. Notice what that does in your body. Notice that sacral region again, below your belly button, and you soften. Release those feet and keep your knees hugged in towards your chest. This time I want you to draw your nose up to your knees so that you're stretching that spine out a little deeper. Pull those knees in. Might even feel good to grab the bottoms of your feet. I like to grab the balls of my feet and really take a tight little ball here. And then letting it all go. Bringing your feet down to the mat. One at a time, extending those legs. Reach your arms out overhead and find a full body stretch. Bring one hand back to your heart, one hand to your belly. So whichever hand that you took naturally here, I want you to switch it, because hopefully that will be the opposite of what you did earlier in our practice. And then draw your feet together, the bottoms of your feet together, and take that reclined Baddha Konasana where your knees are out wide again. Stay steady with a few inhales and exhales here. Just let yourself be open. Bring your hands down to the outside of your thighs again. And gently draw your knees back together and into your chest. Let's cross our ankles and slowly make our way up to a seated spot on our mats. Always taking your time here. We were on our backs for quite a while, so just finding any sensations that come up in your body. Let's cross our legs and make ourselves comfortable. If you have a towel or blocks or anything that you want to sit up on to ease tension in your hips or legs at all, feel free to do so. I want to stretch out our shoulders and upper body here so that we can kind of balance out all that hip opening stuff that we did. So let's take a couple inhales here, and we're going to add some twists just gently into our breath. So take an inhale, hands are going to reach straight up overhead. And on the exhale, twist towards your right side. Stay twisted, take an inhale, sit up taller. And on the exhale, take a deeper twist as you look towards the back. Inhale, come back to center, hands up overhead. And on the exhale, let's twist the opposite direction, doing the same thing. Pausing, sitting up a little taller. And on the exhale, twisting a little deeper, bring our gaze back over that shoulder. I'm going to take about 3 more of these on each side. So just tie this to your own breath. Your inhales will always bring you back to center. And the exhales, you'll twist. You'll stay for 1 breath cycle. That inhale will bring you back to center. Follow your own breath here, and I will remain silent as you just kind of take notice of things in your body and what your spine does, what your neck does. Just finding that space. After you've done equal on all sides, then let's come back to center, hands down on either side of you. Let's tent our fingers off. Sit up a little bit taller. And this is always reminiscent of Carol's Pilates class where you ground down that left hand, take your right hand up overhead. I want you to feel this stretch into that right hip and right side body. Try to keep your shoulders squared off in front of you. And then round that right shoulder, look down at the left side. And then on an inhale, open up back to center. Your chest is squared off. And then on an exhale, try to bring that right shoulder back behind you as you gaze up underneath that bicep. Let that right knee push down towards the ground here. Come back to center, square those hips off, or shoulders off rather. And take that right shoulder forward again. Try to straighten that right arm any bit. Lengthen it. Come back to center, and on an exhale, you'll roll open again. Do that one more time. Square off, and then roll that shoulder forward. Inhale, you'll open to center, and then that exhale, you'll open your heart and that gaze up. Come back to center, square off, and then right hand comes down. Just noticing, I can really feel that blood flowing into my side, into that shoulder after I do those. That's just what it does in my body. Let's try it on the other side. Inhale that left hand overhead, ground down that left hip. Take your side stretch. Roll that shoulder forward. Look at the ground. Square off those shoulders to the front, and then open up. Let's do a few more of these. Always finding that squared off shoulders before rolling forward or open. Make sure you're reaching that left arm long, those fingertips reach away from you. And just time to explore the sensations in your body. Last one, opening up. And square off. And inhale, you'll reach up. Hands come down to the mat. Again, that same sensation in the left side. Let's take an inhale, reach both hands up overhead. And on the exhale, both hands come down, bowing over our lap. Let your chin tuck into your chest as your head hangs heavy. Weight down your hips towards your mat if they're trying to lift. And then walk your fingertips forward in front of you. And then draw your belly button towards your spine here. Head hangs heavy so that back of your neck doesn't have any tension in it. Let's walk our hands over to the right side so that we're hanging out over that right knee. You might even be able to take it a little bit further than that knee if that range of motion is available to you. Trying to let go here and let yourself melt towards the side. So walk those hands back to center. Neutralize your spine here for a moment. Reset, draw that belly button in, find length in your arms and walk those fingertips away. And then over to the left side. Just hanging out here, holding this stretch for about 30 seconds. So finding your breath, taking it easy, feeling where you can let go. And bring those hands back to center. Fold forward over your lap. Noticing again if your body has let go at all, if you're able to fold a little bit deeper. And still hanging out here for about 15 more seconds, so don't worry about the time. Just listen to your body and watch it relax, lengthen, and change. Walk those hands back towards you. Slowly sitting up, stack those shoulders over your hips and the neck is long. Let's move our neck around a little bit now. So gaze up at the sky. And move your gaze over to the right shoulder. Lift that gaze back, kind of making a rainbow with your eyes. Shift that gaze over to the left shoulder. Do that one more time, nice and slow. Tilt that head as far back that is comfortable for you. Bring your gaze to the right shoulder. Relax those shoulders down if they are kind of squinching up by your ears. And take it to the left one more time. Let's bring our head back up to center. Again, notice any sensations. Now we're going to stretch out those necks and shoulders a little bit more. So our right hand is going to go behind our back. And I like to turn around just to show you kind of what I'm doing here. So you're grabbing that right wrist with your left hand. Pull that elbow across your body. Let's see, you guys are going this way. So pull that hand across towards the opposite side of your body. And then sit up taller. Move your gaze over towards the direction you're pulling your hand. Over to that left. Turn that gaze as far as you can and then look down at your lap. Look up at the sky. And gently kind of look all around the room so that your chin is moving, your head is moving, and take these movements really slow. I want you to find your stress in your shoulder or neck. Notice where it's going to be beneficial for you just to hold for a little bit longer. And this is going to be different for everybody. So once you find a spot, pause and take a few breaths. I'm going to actually do this for about 30 more seconds, 45 more seconds on this side. So there might be multiple spots that feel tight for you. I want you to just continue to take a couple breaths, then move that chin a little bit, move your gaze. And let's release that hand. Bring both hands back to your knees for a second so that your shoulders can relax and sit up nice and tall. All right, let's take it on the other side. Left hand tucks behind you, right wrist, or grab that wrist with your right hand. Pull it across and look to the right. Let's play around. Again, move that chin, that gaze, any direction. Sometimes I even add in a little underbite to really get into where I feel stress. I tend to clench my jaw a lot, and so do many of us when we get stressed or busy. And sometimes an underbite, pushing that jaw forward, can really increase that sensation for a stretch. And just explore your tension, where your stretch is going to be most beneficial, and pause, breathe. Just give yourself permission to do some self-work here. And again, as you're ready, let's come back to center. Rest those hands on your knees. Checking the time here. All right, let's just roll our shoulders around. Let's roll them forward a couple times in circles. Let's roll them backwards. Let's create bigger space. So take your circles forward again, but bring your elbows out to the sides like you're kind of stretching out your wings. Big full range of motion with those elbows. And after a few, take them the opposite direction. And then expand those arms out. Take them back forward. Arms are straight. Find those big circles. And the opposite way. All right, hands rest back on our knees. Let's bring our feet straight out in front of us for a moment. Pedal out your knees. This foot and our legs are bent for a while. They can feel wonky when we straighten them. So point your toes one at a time, away from each other. Sitting up nice and tall again. Let's pull our left knee in towards our chest. So you might stay here for a stretch. There's two different ways that we could take this stretch. You can bring that left foot to the outside of that right thigh, keeping that right leg straight, or you can bend that right knee even and really kind of pretzel ourselves here if that's comfortable. And I want you to check in with that left butt cheek. If it's wanting to lift up off the mat here when you bring both knees in, just try to maybe keep that leg straight, or you can bring it at a more of a diagonal too, to start to work with that right hip mobility, but both butt cheeks are heavy on the ground and even. So sit up nice and tall. Inhale that right hand high, and then wrap it around that left knee. You can even just grab that left knee with your hand. And then the left hand is going to be placed behind you. So taking this twist, sit up nice and tall, really ground down in those sit bones, create length in your spine, and then look over that back shoulder. Take a couple more breaths here. And slowly untwist out of your little pretzel shape, whatever it looks like, and bring both feet straight. Again, I always like to kind of shift back and forth as that flesh underneath you kind of squishes up. So find that centered feeling, that evenness in your body. And we're going to take our twist the opposite way. So right knee comes in. Again, take that foot maybe across to the outside of that thigh. Be at an angle for that left foot or tucking that left foot underneath you. Find some length in your spine. Inhale, left hand high, and wrap it around that knee. Right hand places behind you. Take that twist. I love to take length on my inhales, so I always like to cue inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist deeper. Again, if that connects with you, feel free to stay with those intentional breaths, finding that length and twist with your breath. Slowly make your way back to center. Untwist out of our little twist tie. Legs are straight. Take a couple breaths. Inhale, reach hands up high, and exhale, just hinge forward any bit, reaching for your toes or shins. And then inhale, reach those hands high, sit back up. And exhale, try to touch those toes. Inhale, one more time, reach up tall. And exhale, touch those toes. Tuck your chin into your chest. Take this full forward fold. You're gripping onto your toes or your ankles, your shins, just release that grip and let your hands be placed on the outside of your legs, just resting on the ground. That way you're not pulling yourself any deeper, you're just letting your body do its natural work. Slowly round that spine, drag your hands back towards you, sit up tall, and let's shift onto our backs. So we are going to finish up here. Knees can be bent as you come down to your mat. Let's take our feet mat width apart again. Let our knees fall in towards each other, noticing if they touch. And if they do, continue to walk those feet straight out until those knees just kind of hover by each other. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Deep inhale. On the exhale, nice audible out your mouth. We'll take a couple of these. Take another inhale in through your nose, deepest breath you've taken yet today. Audible exhale. Let your whole back body sink into the mat. Do that one more time here. Inhale deeply. Chest inflates, belly inflates. Inflate that air a little bit deeper. And audible exhale. Switch the lay of your hands. Bring the bottoms of your feet together. Let your knees fall out wide. Let your body find ease here. Hopefully it settles in quicker than it did the first time we took that pose. But again, if not, if we've created tension by moving slow, just letting our bodies be wherever they're at. But always just taking notice of what it's doing. Any pinching or tension, being curious about it. Trying to bring softness to this pose and to our minds. I'm going to do a couple more of those audible exhale breaths. So deep inhale into your belly. Exhale. One last time, inhale. You can stay right here for another minute as your Shavasana today, or you can take your hands by your sides, feet out about back width apart as a traditional Shavasana. Finding what your mind is thinking right now and just going with it. Again, just knowing that your shape and your body does different things than everybody else's in the world. You are unique. And just as you are unique, everyone around you is unique as well. In the way their body holds emotion and the way their physical body moves and reacts to things. Just finding that acceptance, indifference for all of those around us, but especially ourselves. Finding that kindness for everyone, including ourselves. Just embracing all the ways that we are different and letting that difference unite us. Letting that uniqueness bring us together as one. Letting it soften our reactions to all. Just letting anything that no longer serves us or feels good in our bodies and our hearts and our minds. Time to let it go. Even if it's just for a few more moments as we lay in peace on our mats. And feeling free to stay here for as long as you wish, as long as your body needs. But also making your way out of it, finding any movements that call to your body to awaken. Making your way up to a seated spot on your mat. Having this sense of softness through your whole body still, bringing that with you as you rise. And uniting our practice with one last inhale, reach out and up overhead. And on the exhale, hands down to your heart, head bows. And thank you for joining me for the last hour. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Namaste.